somewhere. Right, Barbara. So let's have a look at.
Yeah, well, thank you. I thought we'd start at the very beginning, and I thought we'd start with "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Okay.
And we're going to keep it very, very simple. Let's pretend that there is somebody out there watching who's never done any stamping before, and they think, "Oh, do you know what? I fancy this." And let's just look at this particular card here, and it's very, very easy. It's stamped, and then it's layered up. So if I go like this, you'll see we can deconstruct it.
Okay.
I'm assuming, you know, there's always somebody that's never done any stamping.
Well, do you know, I like to paint, but I've not done a lot of stamping either, so this is an education for me too.
There we go. So we've got 2 hours, let's use them.
Let's do it.
And this is what we call a 5 by 5 inch card blank. And we use these all the time. We sell them, a big collection of them, and they come to you scored but not folded.
Okay.
And you'll see here we've got a 5 by 5 black and white.
Yes.
6 by 6 black and white, 7 by 7 and 8 by 8. So
Excellent.
we cater to all sizes. And what we do is we sell the envelopes separately, because so often we want to just use a 5 by 5 piece. This is exactly the same as our stencil card.
Perfect, yes.
So when you're stamping, I'm talking to the beginner who's never done any stamping.
Yes.
There are 3 things that you need. One is the surface card. Top quality card makes all the difference. 2 is the ink. Which ink pad you're going to use? We'll talk about that as we're going along. Yeah,
Good.
That's it. And then, of course, it's the stamp. Clarity stamp, we make them ourselves, top quality.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very good quality. We've been going for 30 years this year,
well,
so they must be doing something right.
There might be some people out there that don't know that you invented the clear stamp.
We did.
Yeah.
I did. Well,
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because to me it made sense. If you could see through a stamp, then you'd be able to position it beautifully. Yeah. And it's obvious, isn't it? But so yeah, I came up with the first transparent art stamp.
Excellent. So it's going to be top quality. So we've talked about the surface.
And we make them ourselves in England as well.
Yeah, which is
we're the manufacturer. Yeah.
Right. So we've got the surface.
Yep.
We're going to go for the ink. Yep. We need the composition now and how to do it.
There we are.
Right.
So let's keep it simple, and let's just take a look. The first thing we're going to do is have a look at how to stamp and what to use. So here I have my collection. There you go, "'Twas the Night." And I'm going to take my first stamp here. I've got all of them in here, all the way through, and the folder comes with the collection. It's really handy to have this.
Okay.
And they're also in the chronological order.
Yes, of the poem.
Yeah, of the poem.
Excellent.
There we are. So now I'm going to just take this off here. Let's have a look. And I'm going to mount it on a 4 by 4. It's just a 4 by 4 mega mount.
Okay.
And these are really useful to have.
Yeah, we do have these. Again, you know, for beginners or people who have been stamping for a while, maybe you've been using a platform but you want to use something else. We do have these available, and what we'll do is we'll bring the details up on the screen. We'll bring them up at the bottom. There are lots of different sizes, and the 4 by 4, 5 by 5, and I think there's another size, 4 by 4, 5 by 5. We've got those on the website. You can find them.
So the mega mount is ideal for it's perfect, and they're quite slim nowadays. We keep them slim so you've got a little bit more flexibility.
Okay.
See, they're handy.
Just to let you know, 30% of the stock has gone now of that complete collection as we're demonstrating it. I think people are starting to check out the baskets as well, so thank you for that.
I'm glad to hear that. Now let me show you something that's really a game changer. So on my counter, when I'm working at home, I've always got a stash of this stencil card, which is the same as the other card. So we've always had a 7 by 7 stencil card, and these are the 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch little toppers, which is what that is. Look.
And they're already cut to that size,
aren't they?
Great.
It's so useful. I can't tell you. I reach for these all the time.
Yes.
And so we decided to bring them to the TV, because I thought, well, if I use it it's obvious that I could cut that into a quarter and I would arrive at the same place. But I know that it makes a lot more, when it's already cut to size, oh yeah, that makes sense to me too.
You're going to use it, aren't you? It's like when you've got a cake, when it's sliced, you eat it, don't you? You absolutely do. And you keep going back to that fridge for more. $8.99. This is great value for money, everyone. These are already pre-cut for you, so you don't need to get your cutting devices out at home or your scissors. Like me, I'm terrible at cutting card, I'll admit that. 163246 is your item number. These are going to be dispatched on the 7th of July, so there's not long to wait. But you get 200 for $8.99 if you're in the club. Again, if you want want to multiply, you can. It's a cap P&P, and if you want to add these to your basket that's got flexi on, you can as well. And if you want to use get 5 back, you've got the opportunity to use that if you haven't done so already, and that makes these $3.99. How about that?
That's good, isn't it?
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Wow.
I know.
Well, and I tell you what I think, because I know that I use this all the time.
Yes.
I would double up on this.
Yeah, multi-buy, yeah.
I just know, especially when you're making Christmas cards and you want to go bijou, so you want to use the little baubles and the little Twas and that, and you know, the smaller. I reach for these all the time.
It's the perfect size.
They're the perfect topper.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. We've got our little card, we've got our little stamp all ready to go. I'm going to use an archival black, which is a permanent ink pad, so it's water resistant.
Okay.
Which means if I were to watercolour, it's not going to bleed.
Do you do that before or after? You know, if you are going to watercolour and you're using archival when you're stamping.
What do you mean after?
So, would I stamp and then do a bit of watercolour?
Yes.
Or would I watercolour a background and then stamp on top?
Either or.
Oh,
it's
really?
up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, no. If you want to get the detail, if you want to get the colour in the shoe, then I would suggest stamp first.
But if you
your shout.
But if you wanted to do like a wash, that's what I meant.
Yeah, if you do a wash, you can do the wash.
Yeah, you can do it before or after.
I mean, I don't know, depends how good you are. But yeah, so we're just going to ink up with the black archival.
Right.
And then we'll just, you see, and you can see through the stamp, oh, the joys of transparent stamping. And then you just press onto the stamp and you'll get a really nice, sharp impression. There you go. And if you use a stamping platform, fine, lovely, isn't it? You can see exactly what you're doing. There you go. Wow. Perfect image. That's it. And then you do the same thing with number 4 and number 3 and number 2 and
Perfect.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are all your little toppers.
Yeah, all
there are
ready to
your
go.
Christmas cards, all good to go.
Yeah, I love that. I love the font as well you've used because it really does look like a vintage
really old,
book.
isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
So if I take one of these, let me take one that's, I mean, they dry very fast.
Yes.
It's a very fast drying ink.
I do need to say 40% of the stock has gone 24 minutes into the show. Just keeping you updated, everyone at home, so I don't want anyone to miss out.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad that they're still as popular as the poem is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's a very traditional Christmas poem, isn't it? So let's just have a look. We'll take one of these, and now what we're going to do is add a bit of colour. Let's just do the colouring. Again, what do we use to colour? Well, you can use felt tip pens, you can use pencils. If you're completely new to us, then you should know that we also own Pergamano.
Yes.
That's our company. And these pergoliners are quite something. They're what we call a combi box. So you've got, as you were saying here, you've got 20 watercolour pencils, and then you've got 16, they call them basic pencils. To me, they're like blending pencils.
Yes.
If you've ever heard of Polychromos by Faber-Castell, that's the same family.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So the B pencils are these ones, and these blending pencils, they've got the white writing on, and the black ones are the water-soluble ones.
You'll get a full set, by the way. This is just Barbara's set.
I pulled these ones out because we're a demo later on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I pick them out. The ones I want.
Terrific price again. Details at the bottom of your screen, everyone. Every time we add something, $26.99 if you're in the club.
So I'll just show you. And here's another tip, okay, when you're starting out. This is just a tester now for me. So I want to know what it looks like on here. So rather than go straight to I want to know, this is going to be my tester for all the different colours. Okay, always try what you're using on the same surface as you're working on.
Okay.
Yeah? So now, for example, if I want to add a bit of colour to let's start here, for example. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going round in circles like that. It's dry colouring. I'm just going round and round and round.
Okay.
Circular motions, yeah? And so this way, I can go round and I can gently add the colour. Let's say we're just going to use colour on here. So this is like dry colouring, if you like.
Okay.
Yeah? Just dry colouring. We're not going to rush. Let's have a look. We're going to do his hat as well. See up here? Got his little hat as well. Let's do that. Dry colour. Layers. You work in layers. These are oil-based. So these pencils are oily.
Yeah.
So if you press too hard, what will happen is you'll seal it. See? And they're quite... I can turn it round now, and I can get quite dark. Look. You see?
Yeah.
So I can do that as well. I can get a really good, look, edge on there.
I love the design with the little dots, you know, so it really does look like an old vintage print.
Well, this is how I drew it, I guess, you know, and we could get a bit of shading going. So how long do you want to spend on it? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Okay.
But, you know, let's just get this going. I want to show you something. Let's add a little bit of red in here as well. So I'm just adding this is for the person who's very new to all this and just wants to get... See, I always think less is more, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Although sometimes I think this is the problem I have. Less is more, but then I get carried away and then I do too much.
Do you?
Sometimes I don't know when to stop.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's not unusual.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be brave and enjoy the white.
Yes.
You know, I think that's a good way of, you know, of thinking about it as well. So let's say, for example, I've got my pigment. Let's call it pigment. I've laid down my pigment now.
Yeah.
And you can see all the time, that's all I'm doing is that, right? So it's not too harsh. Now I've got a choice. I can leave it like that, and then I can take my white Posca pen, it's a great pen, and I can just add white dots, like here. Look, I'm just going to add a couple more white dots over here. That's how I've done that.
Do you know what? I thought they were on the stamp when I saw that sample.
No,
no. You just add them.
Just use a white uni. These are great, these Posca pens.
Posca
Great
pens.
for snow as well.
Yeah.
Any snow scenes. This is an absolute must put in my bag.
Yeah.
This is a stash.
Yeah, I love
Essential,
Posca pens.
But now I want to show you something else. So you could colour that in, but let me show you a contrast. If you remember, I said we're Pergamano, so we've got Dorso oil.
Okay.
And we've got Dorso oil, and we've also got, let's call these blending pens.
Yes.
Right. So these are quite something. And let's add also to that pile, let's add a spot-on sponge.
Okay.
So we've got three things that are a game changer. Because it's Pergamano, one always thinks, well, that's got to be for parchment art. But actually, this works beautifully on card as well. Okay. This is, put a little bit of oil on there.
Only a tiny bit.
Yeah, you don't need much. And you can use this again and again and again. So that's my spot-on sponge for the Dorso oil. And then I'm going to, see, I'll put my nib in there. Yeah. And this will move. This is, because it's on card now. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's try it on a bit of scrap again. Just remember I said, and you'll see, when you do this, see how it changes. I don't know if we can get in a bit tighter, but you'll see when I do this, it will start to spread. That oil will start to, see how it's changing it? It makes it look, you see? It's like it makes it fluid. It turns it into more like a print. Yes. See, so here we go now. And it starts to move the, let's go into the light area. And I'm going to let me stay away from the actual liner. And I'm going to let the oil bleed in a little bit. See, so now, see, I can pick up that ink there, and I can come round here. And if I go over the black, it's not going to bleed either. It resists the oil. It doesn't move. The oil won't move the liner. But you'll see how you can take your, see how it changes the colour of your red from a dry ink to almost like printed. And if you want to add more, you can go back in, preferably when it's dry, but even if it isn't dry, you can still go in, add more pigment, and you'll see it doesn't look now like dry, like a dry pencil. No, it doesn't. You changed it completely. You completely change it. And you can add as many layers of this as you like, and you can blend colours as well. Let's go to one that I've already done, and you'll see when it dries, it looks so pretty when it's done. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, so the Dorso oil is a real blending essential. Again, really useful to know that you can change, you know, you can either go to the Posca pens and keep that kind of textured, gritty pencil look. You can blend it out, and when it dries back, even when the oil goes beyond the line art, this will disappear. Yes. You won't, look, it's gone.
It'll be nice and clean.
Yeah, it's nice and clean.
If you want to go for the kit that we've got for you, the Essentials kit, it really is a terrific price. 094148 is your item number. You've got your spot-on sponges in there. You've got the nibs, extra nibs for your pen. You've got your Dorso oil in there, and then you've got your, is that your eraser in there as well?
It is.
Yes, and
Ideal.
then you've got your mix-it mats as well for water and oil. So that is a terrific deal at $17.99, a great little item to have in your stash. 094148 is your item number. There it is. Now,